Why do I want to forgive him for what he did? I don't use Reddit normally, so I'm sorry for any mistakes. My partner cheated, and I can't talk to anyone about it in my life, because as of right now, I want to forgive him. My friends and family won't. I'm sorry for the long post, but please read. I need help. My partner has an issue with alcohol. I would say he is an alcoholic. He is able to abstain in our home, but not when pressured from friends, and has no self-control to stop before he gets far too drunk. Once he starts, he was recently chosen to go a work conference and accept an award for his team. I was very proud of him, but due to finances and the turnaround time of his trip, we decided I would stay home. Well, he got very drunk, and a woman came on to him. He was weak and didn't say no. I found the text messages a month later. I will check his phone occasionally. I know that's bad, but I have very bad trauma from cheating, and this has always helped assuage my fears, because I have never found anything before. The texts were only from that night had been deleted, but I recovered them and he had since blocked her number. He did not continue to try an affair with her. The text messages were flirty, but he swears that he was just afraid of work repercussions. If he just ignored her, I don't know if I believe that I confronted him the moment I found them. I yelled, I cried, I even slapped him. I have been cheated on by nearly every serious partner I've had. My dad was a serial cheater until my parents' nasty divorce. I've dumped men for less serious offenses than this. I have very strong opinions on the lowliness of cheaters, but I live with him, and I've never loved anyone. Like I love him, we had plans for a future together. I even know he purchased an engagement ring. Aside from keeping this lie from me, he is not very good at sneaking things. So I saw when he purchased it, as I was next to him on the couch. I was so happy. I am crushed by his betrayal, and I think I may be in a bit of denial. He never denied the cheating once confronted. He answered all of my questions. He admitted to being weak and it being a stupid, horrible mistake. He said he is actually happy. I know because the guilt was killing him, but he knew he would never have the courage to tell me and risk losing what we have. We communicate so well and have a great relationship. Otherwise, I think that's why I am even considering staying. I've always considered cheating an unforgivable offense, but it never occurred to me that it could truly be a one-time thing. My exes were guys who always had female friends and had continuing flirtations or affairs with women sober. I see this as somehow different. He was drunk and has an issue with alcohol. I don't think this is ever something he would do. Sober, I told him he needs to quit drinking, and he said he would go without alcohol for as long as I need him. To repair the relationship, alcohol had already been an issue in our relationship, and we had even fought about it the week before his trip that he needed to stop to cut back, or else I was leaving. When he came home from the trip, he said he had anxiety about his behavior with his bosses because he didn't have control and drank too much at the event, and for the month since then has not hardly drank, except for the holiday social events, and even then just 1 or 2 drinks. I believed he was just embarrassed now. I know that he was ashamed of what he had done and never wanted to be in that situation again. He is willing to do therapy for his issues with alcohol, and because I am insistent of individual therapy, and perhaps even couples therapy to continue. Why do I want to forgive him? I'm not able to understand my own feelings right now. 1 minute I am so angry, I want to spit. The next I'm so sad and afraid to lose what we have or had together that I'm willing to try to forgive him and make it work. Cheating has always been a black or white issue for me. You dump the person who cheated, end of story. I thought people were dumb for trying thinking someone could change. But here I am, wanting to forgive him for a drunken mistake because I believe he would never do it sober. I was so surprised reading the first paragraph because it almost read like my first Reddit post. I feel the same way you do. My partner cheated on me once, and he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And I would say that the two, alcohol and schizophrenia, kind of play the same role here. Being under an uncontrollable influence, I have been cheated on in every relationship. But this one hurt the most with how much I love him and care for him. It has been a year now since the cheating, and the only thing he has done after was take a girl to prom, without telling me. But I have solid evidence they didn't do anything. He just drove her and then split from her at the event and talked to other. But nevertheless, he still lied, and I also found some interesting corn on his browser. All things he apologized for, and he blocked the girl and put restrictions on his browser. And I have been checking his phone all the time, and yeah, I know the tricks. He has been clean. And most importantly, he has not cheated since the first time, and he has been on medication ever since I love him. But I feel weird things sometimes, like how I wish I just stuck to dating women to avoid all this trauma with him. Not that girls can't cheat. We have been in love, and he treats me so well. I think it is possible for you both to continue this relationship. You just have to set some rules. 1, he needs to quit drinking entirely. You need to have access to his phone. At all times. 3, have each other's locations for whatever else. You need to feel secure. He cannot break these, and let him know if any of these rules are broken that you are through. Do not promise this unless you mean it. You have to see progress made by him by himself. You cannot whip him into place if he becomes better. It has to be on him, and I promise you, it is possible because my man has done it. For yourself, though, allow time to grieve. Look into spaces that can help you. Do not feel bad for whatever thoughts come into your head. Let yourself feel them. And remember that cheating is trauma. Your reactions are not unjust. You have to be okay with the fact that you may resent him a little for the rest of your life, and that your trust in him will forever be tainted. You have to understand that your commitment will be different than other relationships that are not traumatized via affair. I would also look on TikTok for relationship therapists who talk on cheating. I can't remember the name of one, but one really helped me see things clearly. She talks about healing the relationship after the trauma and how it is possible. And be careful about talking about this to your friends and family, because they will hate him forever usually, and judge you for staying. It happened to me. I think judgment is terrible when your loved ones go through this, so just be wary of that. I don't know how Reddit works much, but if you want to message me further, let me know I have been through it too. You are not alone, and you are not crazy for wanting to forgive and move on. No, you are not an unwise. He needs to give you all the time in the world to regain some trust and bend over backwards to prove his remorse and undying affection. Good luck. Story 2. I don't know if I was a good husband, but I tried. My 36 male soon-to-be ex-wife, 35 family, and I have or had been together for 15 years. We dated for 5, were married for 10. Communication for us, Wasal, was a bit rocky. I have ADHD, and communication is a weak point of mine that I've always been working on since even before we were married. I made it a point to never lose my cool or let me anger get the better of me in our relationship. Though when we did have arguments, she would always start to insult me personally to try and provoke a response. Example would be, well, who else would want someone as heavy as you, or you should feel insecure about your pen 15. Or one time, I sleep with my best friend, and he was so much better than you. Immediately followed by I did mean it. I was only trying to hurt your feelings. As an aside, I have confirmed with that friend that she, in fact, did not sleep with him. And he said he thought she was a better person than that. That was the rough stuff, but we had plenty of good times too. And I can say, I loved her with all my heart. We have a beautiful little girl together, and she is the apple of my eye. I supported my wife when her mom passed away. I was there to support her when a friend sat her. I had friends come out as trans women, and I set boundaries with them because my wife wasn't comfortable with me being close friends with women. This one hurt me to my core as a person. I'm trying to mend relationships now. About a year ago, we moved across the country, USA, from NC to SF, California for her job. She was offered her dream job, so I gave up my career and moved us away from everything we knew. Instead of going back to work, she wanted me to try to be a stay-at-home dad for a little while until we got settled. Things felt good at first until she started going to the clubs. She met this guy, 10 years older than us, and same first name as me. He was also from back east, but lived in the city now too, and worked in her field, albeit for a different place. They hit it off right away, and I started feeling uncomfortable. She would stop cuddling me to answer texts from him. When she would answer texts from him, she would hold her phone at this awkward 90-degree angle away from me. She would leave me, daughter, and I to have dinner alone with him. Then after about 2 months, she would disappear for the entire night to be partying with friends and wouldn't come home until 4 or 5 in the morning. I may struggle with communication, but I notice patterns. I started having anxiety attacks at night while she was out. She started doing drugs, not shit from a dispensary, just gummy or shroom she was handed at the club. She would say she was going to spend the night at a mutual friend's house because she lived over 40 minutes away, while I wasn't always sure I wanted to trust her because she was my wife. One weekend, she didn't tell me she was staying at anyone's house. She didn't come home, and it was so unlike her to not let me know what her plans were that I started to panic. I called her frantically at 6 a.m. trying to find out where she was called. Some of her friends said they last saw her at the club. She called me back at 7 a.m. to tell me she was at friend's house. I already asked friends if she knew where wife was and that they just fell asleep because they were really drunk, begins telling friends and family. Oh man, last weekend I upped big time about how she fell asleep at a friend's house, updating me about her plans. I promise I'm not controlling, I just like to stay informed of the plan. Does that make me sound more controlling next weekend? She leaves work on Friday to go party. Doesn't come home until 5 a.m. Monday morning. No calls, no idea where she is. She comes home and I'm awake and in a full-blown anxiety attack. She tells me, "You have a lot of nervous energy. I feel like the best way for you to get it out is to hit me." I'm shocked. Why would she say that? I tell her as much. I'm not going to hit her. I love her. I can't even begin to comprehend the idea of hurting her. I tell her the next day, I'm not comfortable with her relationship with her guy friend. She tells me they had dinner one night to discuss their mutual attraction towards each other and how they were going to deal with it, but that she wasn't going to stop being friends with him. He made her feel safe at the club. I pointed out how she made me set boundaries with my trans friends, and she said I was terrible for that, but I've grown to realize how wrong of me that was. You need to grow too. I start therapy come Valentine's Day. I order about $300 of flowers to be delivered to her office. Our 10-year anniversary is around the corner, and I have an artist friend painting a portrait of us from our wedding day. The week before our 10-year, she tells me she doesn't want to be married anymore. I ask her if she's in a relationship with Guy. She says, "I don't want to tell you because I don't know how you will react." I say, "If the answer is no, then I won't have anything to react to," and she stays quiet. I get mad. I yell at her for about 20-30 minutes. She's in tears because she's never seen me this angry before, despite that fact. I felt like I held a lot of my anger back. I never insulted her. Just a lot of, "How could you do this to me?" and "You moved me across the country just to dump me." She moved out of our apartment a week later. She comes home on my birthday to have a work-from-home day, but ignores me the entire day. Her birthday comes around and asks me if I can make something special for dinner, and out of habit, like an idiot. I agree. I made her special dinner and cake my daughter and I sing her happy birthday, and she leaves to go party with Guy. She only sees my daughter usually once a week for about 3 hours a week and asks me to leave the home. While she's visiting, my daughter refers to Mommy, a gone. X has been staying with friends, telling them I'm too scary to be around and that I'm mean and hurtful. If you've made it this far, guys, I feel broken. Holy shit, I've never felt this hurt before in my life. I know I can't, but I really want to scoop my child up and take her back across the country. Now my ex is saying she wants to spend more time with our daughter, but doesn't know how to ask me. You've known me for over 16 years, and your job has a focus on conflict resolution. Either you never paid attention to me, or you suck at your job if you can't figure it out. I have so much hate and animosity towards this woman that I loved, and feeling this way hurts me to my core. I have no outlet or support system over here. Almost all of my friends and family are back east. I'm looking for work now, but it's starting over again at ground level. I have no connections, are here or network. I keep asking myself, what did I do to drive her away? Was I not fun enough? We can't both go to the club. Someone has to stay with our 7 young. The club was never my scene anyway. I feel terrible because I feel the love I had for this woman turning to hate and vitriol, and that's not the kind of person I am. It's not who I want to be. We moved to the city in June last year, and I believe the affair started in September. Therapist thinks I have PTSD from years of narcissistic abuse. How could she throw away 15 years together in 3 months? I'm at such a loss, and I have to keep masking how I feel for the sake of my daughter. Oh, her AP collects street rats as pets too, like real fun upgrade. Their paragraph is about as jumbled as my brain at me. I have to stay strong for my daughter's sake. Thanks for letting me vent. Reddit. Lawyer up, she is the breadwinner. Let learn the words spousal support and child support. The issue is, you need to go in hard and fast. Tell family and friends. Never protect a cheater. Saving the marriage is up to you, but will never happen while she is in the fog. You did not set boundaries, have her served at work. The divorce laws, as bad as they are, work in your favor. Read about the 180 in Grey Rock. You can always stop a divorce if that is what you want. You gotta knock her out of the fog fast and hard. Dude, stop asking if you're controlling. You aren't basic boundaries, and wanting to know your spouse is safe are not controlling. She's turned you into a doormat. I mean that as tough love, you and your daughter deserve so much better. She only wanted you when you were convenient. Focus on your daughter and a fresh start. Make sure she pays alimony and child support.